I choose this studio mostly because it was a participative workshop, and for me, it was really a good opportunity because I've never been able to do participative work during my bachelor. And so to have members of the Kaza Mwendo Cooperative in front of us was really stimulating.
I would say that it was challenging, but I learned really much more in like 4 months than I did for like the past years. And I also learned to, I don't know, the culture difference, all of that was so, it gave me a different view on the world and on what I wanted to do later too.
I had assumption about how people would live and how people use a house, how people use a kitchen, how people use a bathroom. But I had to discuss with the community to realize that actually the architecture of those spaces will be slightly different according to the lifestyle, the culture, the climate.
The collaboration with the students, it has impacted us a lot because it has created a lot of knowledge into our minds, because what we were expecting initially is not what we're expecting to be done right now. Because now, as we've been having workshops with the students, we've gotten a lot of knowledge where even the planning of the land itself and the houses that we are going to put up, they are going to be different from what we had planned earlier.
I think the design perspective is what we're doing in the workshop, because we're bringing the faculty from the two universities, from Jomo Kenyatta University, Department of Architecture, and UDEM, the Faculty of Architecture, and bringing them together, students and faculty. So we're really having a lot of enrichment in terms of a lot of information about various subjects on how we can improve on this, from water management to landscaping to planning. Yeah, but we're really stopping a lot at the design units. And something that is very unique about this particular workshop is that we're working on it together with the residents. So the residents are part of the workshop. They've also logged in. They're also listening to all the presentations that are being made.
User participation can help the design, because today in the market, buyers are usually led to buy the things that the developer wants and not the thing that the buyer wants. So when you give choices, people do not have to spend more money than they have to. So imagine in the Go Home, we say that on the second floor, you can have, on the second floor, you may have, say, unpartitioned space. And if you want, you can get partitions. But why you will have partitions either on the second floor and the basement if you are just you and your wife? Later, if you save money, you can build another bathroom and more partitions. So participation is a key to saving money.
The government is not able to define what does it mean when you say affordable housing, and yet it is costing all over about 3.5 million house, and you say it is affordable. Affordable to who? But when we say the low cost housing, it is well defined. Why is it called low cost housing? It is because of the kind of the material. It is because of the kind of the labor. It is because of the way the house is built incrementally without stretching the finance of the owner of the house.
People move slowly, stage by stage. In other words, when they buy something, they usually say washing machine or something like that. They don't have the money and they pay little by little. And the same concept applied to the house. The same concept applied to the house. and people were able to add at the back, and then if they wanted, they could add at the top. And this, the home was evolving with their income, their means, their money, but also in evolution in the family. When they have more children, they need more room and so on.
It was a first discovery of the lifestyle through the studio, the language, the reality of what is the daily life of slum dwellers, and understanding all this complex reality even from far away was a first step. And then with the engagement of the design, the comprehension gets better, but never as when I went on site and I understood what is the behind of the pictures.
And as you know now, they really want to move to their site, which is in Komorok. And it's a site that they have, put in a lot of resources in terms of time and money to acquire. Well, also many years ago, more than 15 years ago. So for them, it's an asset, and we want to help them to develop it again as far as we can. That's our role on this project.
Actually, the idea of buying land outside Nairobi was because Nairobi is too much congested. The land in Nairobi is very expensive. The regulations for housing development within Nairobi is very expensive. There's a lot of corruption within the city, so that now whenever you are buying a land in Nairobi, within the city center, there is nowhere a poor person like us from the informal settlement can afford the cost.
There was one aspect in the studio that touched me and made me want to push harder with this project and inspired me a lot. Was the cost of opportunity they were facing. Each week they would meet with us for 2 hours on Zoom, which means they had to close their shop for 2 hours during the day and lose that time for potential sale. And each day brings the food on the table. So with time, I start to understand how their participation at the workshop is an expense for them, and it was the second year the workshop happening and they still had no house.
Where I am staying in Kibera, I stay in one room, just on one room, 10 by 10. And I have my kids. So even there is no place where my kid will enjoy. So you get that I am squeezed myself. So if I would go there, I would be happy.
What I can see after 5 years is that I will see my family in a different environment, my family being comfortable, my children living on their own rooms, and they know that they have their homes where even if they don't have a job, there is nobody who can come and demand for rent. Even if you sleep hungry, there is no problem. So after 5, I hope the issue of housing my side will have disappeared, and I would be comfortable in my home.
Yeah, this sense of like economy, where can you save the most and what is really essential in a space. And it also, I don't know, because of that, it gave me like also a different experience of like the size of the space. What do you really need around you? What is necessary to be big and what is necessary to be smaller?
For someone who is interested in low-cost housing, participatory design, I would say start to look at every object around you and find 3 different uses of it right now. Everything can be transformed. Every corner of the space can become something new, and it can be momentary. It doesn't have to last long. Okay,